Hey everybody, back again, and got some cool, fresh story for you guys. Uh, I went out with my host uncle and aunt and cousin to the Isletas de Granada, right out there on Lake Nicaragua. So let me tell you what. Basically, this is like a decision made at noon to decide to leave at around 3, and so it was really a shoot from the hip idea, and turned out to be awesome. So we left La Paz, heading to Granada. Granada is one of the old colonial cities of old-time Nicaragua. So the architecture in town is very colonial Spanish. It's a very big city. A lot of gringos, which, I don't know, it kind of gets weird because the gringos are just so different from the friendly Nicaraguans that when you meet a gringo, the fact that he didn't say adios or buenas to you when you said it to him, you're as offended as the Nicaraguans. And so I feel like I'm now really becoming Nicaraguan when I see the gringos, and I'm like, oh, gringos, they don't know how things are down here. It's actually really cool that I feel so Nicaraguan all of a sudden. But basically, gorgeous city, huge church in town. We got there right in the middle of a funeral, actually, which is cool because they're really different in Granada. They have like horse-drawn carriages that are very elaborate, very beautiful, and they have these huge processions that go through the entire city. Really a thing to see, and I managed to get at least one picture I know that's really good of the carriage and some of the people. I didn't really feel comfortable taking pictures of it because I'm trying to be more culturally sensitive, and I don't want to make a funeral into a spectacle. But I had to get it because it was absolutely an amazing thing, and it's something that Granada is actually famous for, according to my host family. Then we went out to the beach, the beach of the Lake Nicaragua, or Cocibolca is the indigenous name for the lake. And the lake has, I wouldn't call it surf, but it does have waves, and it's pretty choppy at times. I mean, it's so big, the lake is so big that when the Spanish first found it, they actually thought that they had discovered the Pacific Ocean. That's how big that lake is. And yeah, I'd have to say, when you look out over that lake looks just enormous. You can barely see anything out in the distance. And yeah, it was pretty amazing. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the lake, but the islets were all we had time for, and believe me, that was a day's adventure. And so went with my host family, and we went down and around trying to find us a port. Of course, as soon as they saw the gringo, they wanted to charge us in dollars and not Cordobas, and we were just laughing at some of the prices they were giving us. I was like, oh yeah, for $300, and we're like, fuck that. It was really, really crazy. But you know what? That's kind of the price you have to pay for being a Blanco. And let's see. We finally found a guy that gave us a reasonable rate, and we got on this little tiny motor-powered boat and started heading out into the lake. And the islets are absolutely gorgeous. They're not real big. A couple of them are really small, like something like maybe 500 square feet. And then some of them were a little bit bigger. I mean, they actually had a couple of buildings on them, and most of them had something on them. And a lot of what was out there were like kind of these summer homes, or kind of bungalow getaways that get rented out. There were several like very wealthy European families had homes out there on the islands that were absolutely gorgeous, and I think that I saw there was one where like an islet that like had a little kind of bungalow place that you could spend like a weekend in, and I just took so many pictures. It was amazing really to see. Just to think like, oh man, I get to wake up and look out over Lake Nicaragua, and there's jungle around me, and there's beautiful birds, and it's pretty amazing. I'm sure it costs a pretty penny as well. Let's see. One of the islands that we went out to was called Isletas de Monos, which is Monkey Island. And so we went out there, and it's one of the smallest ones. It's only like 500 square feet, I'd say, with a bunch of different trees growing out of it. And on this island are monkeys. They're just monkeys all over the place. And they're not naturally there. They're there as part of like a, I guess you could say some sort of a preserve. Not really. I really don't even know what to call it. But they were put out there as sort of kind of like a rescue, I guess. They put the monkeys out on the island, and they take boats out there, and they throw them bananas, and they throw them food and things like that, and they just stay out there on the little island where they're safe. And they have tons of trees. They can run around on that tiny little island, and the island is more accommodating, I would say, than some enclosures that I've seen. And the people can't get to them. They're pretty safe there on that little island. And I saw at least 3 species, or 3 different types of species. Actually, I should say. I mean, there was 2 species at least. I saw one spider monkey and a bunch of capuchins with the brown and black faces, and then I saw one that was all black. That might have been another capuchin, but I don't know for sure, so we're just gonna probably say it was either 2 different kinds of capuchins and a spider monkey, or 3 species altogether. I don't know which to say. Saw all kinds of birds out there, all these big herons. Saw these hawks that would dive down and pull fish up out of the water and keep on going. And more gringos out there on the lakes, in the little speedboats with their cameras flashing, making a big scene of themselves. In the big expensive boats, the ones that they got talked into paying in dollars, which we were not about to do. And so I was just like sitting there with my Nicaraguan family, we're just kind of looking at them, like, just looking out. I was almost like looking at the wildlife. Like, look at Exhibit A over there, the gringo. Look at him, how he spends his money. What an interesting sight. It was actually really, really funny to be kind of on the Nicaraguan side, just like looking out at the tourist and just thinking, you're so stupid. I mean, do you really think that was okay? And I just find it really, really interesting being on that side of the cultural fence. So, and then we're getting to come back, and it was really late by the time we were getting back, and absolutely gorgeous. The sun is setting behind Volcan Mombacho, and it's coming down over the city of Granada, and you're seeing the silhouette of the skyline, which isn't really high. I mean, nothing really gets built up in Nicaragua, but you can still see like all the big cathedral and some of the other larger stuff, and just absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to go out to León, which is the big rival city, which is out there on the Pacific coast, and it's supposed to be really. It's another big colonial city, and I just want to see what the difference because the history between Granada and León is just one of really big rivalry. So I want to see if Granada was that gorgeous, I want to see what León has in store. And we're gonna cut this one off right here, and I will talk to you guys next time.